order. It's 9:38. Council on Aging meeting, Maritime Center on August 14th, 2014. Election of officers. Do we have a volunteer to be chairman? Anybody want to volunteer or assume the role?
There was a nomination made last week. Last month.
Dr. Price was nominated. You were nominated Dr. Price was nominated for chairman. You were renominated for vice chair. And Beth, you were nominated for
So I read.
secretary. Right.
May I interject here? I apologize, but we didn't have the introduction of the members. So if you'd like to start.
Okay. My name is Debbie Young, Council on Aging Chairperson.
Jim Harmon. Jim Miller.
Dale Bayrod, board member.
Linda Hayes, Director of the COA.
Mario Tool, Board of Selectmen.
Audrey Reedy, member, chair, vice chair.
Gordon Price, recently appointed to the council.
I'm Beth McCabe, and I am Beth, not Elizabeth, newly appointed.
Well, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Any discussion about who's going to go for secretary? Who is it? That's what I said.
Get the vote.
Yes.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
Well, first of all, Beth, would you like to?
I would rather not hold an office this year since I'm new, so I would like to withdraw my name, but it was nice of you to nominate me.
So that means that we will be meeting.
We need another nomination for secretary. Someone that would view the minutes or view the meeting, following the meeting. We no longer have to require someone to take notes at the meeting, though they're welcome to do it that way. Otherwise, because it's recorded, you can view the meeting online, on YouTube, through Scituate cable television, and then simply type up the minutes and distribute, send them to me for distribution. That is how it's been done.
No.
Would you be interested?
No, I would abstain from that. Or pass on that.
Jim, would you be interested? Okay.
Debbie?
Well, I suppose I can give it a go. I just don't know if my computer at home is up to speed to be able to watch YouTube without interruptions. I don't know. Is there, if I run into problems, is there a place to see?
So there will certainly be a place for this.
Or
We could help facilitate that. You could certainly have an office. We have part-time people who aren't there sometimes, and we have public computers too.
And how about the library?
True, could be.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
But no.
But, if you follow along with previous agendas, the minutes, previous minutes, using that as a model, and then, any assistance, and then, because you're good with the computer, once if you find you need to use a computer at the center, but, it's pretty straightforward if you use the former minutes as listen to me and I decline, but I don't have a computer at home and right now, et cetera, so I was the secretary and PM Davis stepped in, but, there's lots of people at the senior center that can help Kevin.
Do we have a second? I would love to nominate you.
Yeah.
Feel accept?
Well,
Second?
I'll second.
Well, wait a minute, do you want to take a stab at it?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
I will.
All right. Shall we vote? All those in favor?
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
Unanimous.
Okay.
Does everybody had a chance to review the minutes? of
Well, we
July?
have to vote on Dr. Schwartz.
We need to go here and there.
Dr. Price?
Oh, I have to, all right. We're jumping ahead. Would anyone like to second the nomination of Dr. Price?
I second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Did you want to talk to Price? Did you
No,
want to be
try.
chairman? Okay. Before we put you in a spot. Okay, great.
Great,
Yay.
great vote.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, I can't nominate myself, I don't believe, I'll be vice chair.
We could have the new chairperson.
I'll put Audrey's name up for vice chair of the COA.
I second it.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Another unanimous
Okay.
decision.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
They pulled the 3 minutes in June. Is that good? Have one or 2 minutes to look at them? You can keep track how many signed up for the charter. Was there a real?
When we had them come to actually take the pictures that day for the TPAS, Charlie Cars, we had a good 50, maybe more at the center.
Will that happen again, or is it just a monthly gift?
Actually, it could happen anytime we ask them. They're really super accommodating and they would come anytime.
That's great. And I'm sorry you didn't take one. That's very good. Good figure. I don't know if everybody's seen the narrative this week, but it was very nice article.
Nice feature. It's a great program, and the ladies that have done the program in Tai Chi have been really happy with it. They've stuck with it for 27 weeks at this point.
Great, and that's the best publicity you can have, when people are happy with it.
Absolutely. I'm starting a new one in September.
How was it going for the outings, parks?
That was a trip we helped with at the request of someone who wanted to do it, and she as a volunteer really spearheaded most of that bus trip. She got the bus and got the requisite number of people to attend.
Because I don't like there were this one.
Right. I'm not sure we would sponsor that frequently if ever, but it went well and it was enjoyed by those who went.
And the Museum of Fine Arts?
That was excellent, and they're very happy, and they're going to the Peabody Essex Museum in September. So that's a great use of our band and our money.
So the maximum of the band today?
14, excuse me. We should know this.
Including the driver?
13, I think, included the driver. Getting my bands mixed up, I think. 12 passengers, what we
I see the band. It's nice to see.
May I ask a question in regard to the minutes, since I was not here last month? The liaison positions that you're mentioning, I don't know what the abbreviations stand for. MCOD?
The Mass Commission on Disabilities. Each town, each municipality has that. So that was one, and we don't as yet have anyone willing to go to those meetings.
And where are the meetings held?
I am not sure where, I think they're at the Little Red Schoolhouse, I believe.
They used to be, I don't know if
And I-
they changed that, but they were
And I'm
not.
fairly certain they are monthly. John McLaughlin is the chairperson.
Okay.
I did not bring his information with me, but if you were willing,
I would be interested in doing that.
that would be great.
I also would let you know, if I could just have a minute, that I am on the advisory council for social elder services. So I'm very happy to be associated with this board, because as shown as a liaison with the board of directors, I can also bring your news to the advisory council and bring news back to you for the advisory council for social elder services. But I also will let you know that the reason I'm interested in MCOD is that I'm an RN and I worked for 20 years at New England Village in Pembroke with developmentally delayed adults. would be of great interest to me.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
I'm familiar. Our social services manager, Laura Manier, who works for the COA, as well as the town of Scituate, was just asked to be on the advisory board for
Thank you.
social elder services.
Any corrections or additions?
Not for me.
Is this for both June and July, or just?
We're just doing June. All right. Can I have a motion to accept?
I make a motion that they be accepted as written.
Second.
Local wine, yeah. The next project is taken off, isn't it?
It has most definitely taken off. We've been very fortunate to get some great speakers.
So we just accept both months? Meeting minutes? Is that June and July?
How is this going with the Scituate Cable TV? So you're going to have a show information on this.
We're still in the planning stages. They're taking some pictures.
That'd be terrific. So many people say, I just didn't know that we were doing anything in the same market. It's nice that they're there. The Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, I've had a surgery. So I don't know what's going on. How did that go?
So everyone enjoyed that immensely. I think the elephants had the largest audience from any of the cafe tours, except for Matt Brown. So they loved it. They were great.
Anybody want to make any additions, corrections?
Is this now for the July?
This is July.
I make a motion to accept the July minutes.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Director's report?
Hi, everyone. In general, let me say that the senior center has been busy. We've added programs. We've had a full staff for the summer, even with 3 part-timers and 3 full-time people. We've been able to cover everything we needed to cover at the center. And even today, in the summer, oftentimes we have more than one thing going on at the same time, despite our limitations at the facilities. We do take advantage of using the Scituate Harbor Community Building for exercise classes generally. We have had a presentation or 2 there as well, and we'll continue to do that. We have had a couple of luncheons here, but otherwise, we are concentrating most of our activities at the senior center, and it has its limitations, but we are working with it. I am very happy to be able to announce that Scituate has officially hired the University of Massachusetts Gerontology Institute to conduct the needs assessment survey that the town voted for at the town meeting. The survey will take place within the community to determine the current level of satisfaction and awareness of Council on Aging programs and services, as well as the anticipated level of need to accommodate future seniors as we grow. We hope the profile of community expectations helps to define the ideal in planning for future space and to identify and develop activities and services that meet both our short and long-term goals. The project leader from the University of Massachusetts is Jan Muchler, and she and I will be meeting with our town administrator next week, and that will allow for us to begin the project at that point. It will be about a 4-month timetable, 4.5-month timetable, which should be complete by the end of December. And I do have for the board, I just thought it would be helpful to outline this for you So I did. So it's really just an outline of our request for the scope of services, and then UMass's steps for what they would accomplish for us. So the Gerontology Institute Center for Social and Demographic Research in Aging. So they propose to conduct a sample survey focusing on residents' interests, experiences, and satisfaction with current services and anticipated future needs for services. And they expect to take a random sampling of 2,000. They prepare a limited demographic profile of residents both 45 to 59 and then 60 and over. They'll provide an overview of current COA program services and usage, which they'll get from myself, my staff, and our records. They'll conduct interviews within the town regarding the perception of elder services adequacy, service gaps, and ways in which town leaders are planning for our growth. They'll develop a peer community comparison of features of surrounding towns' senior centers. So they do expect to interview other directors at various senior centers nearby. And then they will prepare and present and submit a written and electronic report to us. So that's an outline of the activities that they will handle.
Who's the town informant?
That remains to be seen.
What
Someone informed,
categorizes the town
what does,
informant?
that's their language. I would guess that it's
Not
a.
the same person.
I think they're going for certain key place individuals who have a perception from either performing in a town capacity, perhaps, or another committee,
Mhm.
someone who has interaction with what goes on within the town and with the COA. Formed, maybe that was the word. Anyway, I thought that would be helpful.
It is.
Additionally, our social services manager, who I've mentioned several times, Laura Manier, and I, we actually use town council to assist us with expanding language and solidifying certain language and documentation that she uses when she goes out to homes in the community. So release form, a health information release form, which the residents have to sign to get assistance, and also notice of privacy practices. And then also Social Elder Services had requested that we sign a memo of understanding just to clarify the relationship and the expectations of each entity's roles, as again we assist different individuals with different services. So we asked them to look at that with us. He made recommendations, so Social Elder Services has that document now. But it was very helpful to be able to do that. Laura has concerns often. She needs to abide by confidentiality restrictions and often is asked to relay information that would be helpful, but she does have to follow certain guidelines, so the documentation is very important for people to have. She also, again, mentioning our outreach, continues to direct the monthly meeting of a new hoarding task force, which I also have mentioned. She is using her contacts, people she has met, people she has heard at certain seminars, to help educate members of our task force, made up of a few key individuals from town departments, the fire department, the police department, the health agency. Many of us involved in working toward an effective manner of identifying and assisting those residents that do need help or found to be in unhealthy living situations. So ultimately, we hope to have a course of action that's followed consistently, and that's what the task force is attempting to do effectively. Activities in July, we still had several things going on, even though it's been maybe a little bit slower in the summer. Our exercise attendance is down just because we have certain exercise not happening. We take the summer off, but we added a Zumba class. We tried to start something else, which we did not get any participation for. So again, I list only the numbers so you can see generally 106 people took exercise classes in a month. That's the total. 43 individuals took those exercise classes overall. Art's booming. Our art class, which actually happens tonight at the senior center, she's actually increased, so she gets a lot more participation in the summer than she had in the winter. So again, unduplicated plan, but 26 total people for the month taking art. Our knitters they come every week. Italian, we are having a 8-week Italian class with a woman she goes away for the winter, is here for the summer. Many people had already started with her doing Italian, so they are continuing with her. So it's not a beginner's Italian, it's more conversational. They're good, they're very good. I'm trying to listen, I'm not hearing. Computers are still getting used. We're actually upgrading one of the public computers that we make available to people so that they have a more updated software available for them. Professional appointments and Shine, the health information specialist that we have come in, he's a volunteer. He was only coming in twice a month. He actually expanded it for the summer and to continue, I believe, to 3 times a month, which is great. So he's able to meet with 4 people each time he comes. And so now he's serving 12 people instead of 8.
Is that Don Muller?
His name is Norman Tetro. So not Don. He comes from Weymouth, actually.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Oh, he's excellent, and it's great reviews. I'm there one day when, he holds his sessions, and they walk out, and each person or each couple that goes in when they leave, they're talking to me, oh, he cleared everything up for me, I was so confused. So, he really is a gem. We're lucky to have
We
him.
do actually, and on that note, he will be at the seminar, but also the Shine coordinator for the area, for our area, will be at the senior center in October 15th, to just generally run through what needs to be done for people either entering the age where they need to make some selections, but also the Medicare Part D supplement for prescriptions. They'll talk about that specifically. And then the next day, October 16th, is our health fair, which we will have at the Community Harbor Building. So he'll be there as well, just to assist people one-on-one as they need it. So I think often it's the applications that are overwhelming, and also knowing what is covered and what isn't, and how much extra it might.
His name again?
Norman Tetro.
And Linda, what is this social visit? Do people punch in for that? I don't recall seeing that on the computer.
They should.
Oh, okay.
If they just happen to stop by, come in just to say hello, sit, read a magazine, do a puzzle, talk with us, it's a social visit. Unless they're there for some other purpose, they could be there to talk with someone specifically. So we do try to record that. We try to record everything, which helps me generate these reports. I have to do the annual report for the state this month, and really I need the numbers that come out of my senior center in order to do that accurately, which is helpful. So as you can see too, we had the men's breakfast in July with Dave Ball, which was wonderful. We did have it at Widow's Walk. They liked it so much they wanted to continue having breakfast at Widow's Walk, so we did it again in August, which was great. We did put together a July 4th luncheon with the help of the volunteers from the Congregational Church on Country Way with entertainment. It was fabulous, wonderful, just hot. And we did a successful field trip, cultural trip, which is nice, and we'd like to do more of them. This one was to the MFA. We're planning one to the Peabody Essex Museum, and hopefully also the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
Men's breakfast, August 17th will be where?
The men's breakfast was in August. It's always the first Monday, and I did include it in this report. It was 17 men attended. So that's what the number is. He was great. He is a former teacher. He, I believe, is the head director right now of the Lobstermen's Association, which happens to be in Scituate. He lobsters out of Sandwich, but he's a very knowledgeable guy, could talk about anything, had lots of literature, props, information for them. He was fascinating, it was great.
Are you bringing samples?
No samples, but I will mention a few of the fall plans or new programs we have, and I did hope, and he would supply us with lobsters right off the boat to do a lobster luncheon, which I just think would be nice, just for fun. We'll need to get a bunch of crackers, but otherwise he will supply the lobsters, so we are planning that for September. I'm excited to talk about a new game we're bringing in called pickleball. I don't know if anyone has already heard about it, but it is a combination of tennis and follows tennis's rules for the most part with some modifications, played in a smaller, like a third of the size of a tennis court, the exact size of a badminton court, which nicely enough we already had actually paid for the painting of the courts to do badminton over at Jenkins School. So we can do this already, I just have to buy some paddles. It's sweeping the nation, of course, everybody likes to say that, but senior centers, retirement communities, it's not as much running. They use plastic balls the size of wiffle balls with holes, they're just like wiffle balls, really. And it's exciting, so I feel ready to do that and got the gym space on Monday nights. It wasn't easy. I'm sure someone's going to be upset because gym time is at a premium. But that is what we will be doing starting in September. So if anyone is interested, the other nice thing, although they may not know it yet, but it is and has been done at the high school already. They do it in their phys ed. So another intergenerational opportunity for them to help teach us how to do it. They've already been doing it. A couple of teachers there, but hopefully really the students would be happy to come in on a Monday night for an hour. That's what
And they could maybe use that towards their community service.
they absolutely could.
You know,
So that's the plan for that as well. Lobster luncheon, I mentioned health and wellness fair on October 16th. We're also starting to look at trying to develop a lifelong learning program, maybe calling it a cafe learning series, just because of our limited space. We have had Bob Jackman already teaching several local history courses for the last year. He's happy and willing to continue and really willing to sort of be the spearheading of the program. So I'm now dubbing what he's coming in to teach in the fall. He's got a couple of courses set up that will run for 6-week sessions. And that's sort of the beginning of the lifelong learning. I have some contacts out. I'm hoping to bring some other people in for other programs. So it's done in the other towns. It's really worthwhile. It brings in a lot of different people who are interested in different kinds of things. So history, art, music, religion, science, literature. Those would be some of the topics we'll be trying to do.
And Bob Jackson is excellent. People who have taken his math class.
He is very good. They love listening to him.
They love his class.
That's in the newsletter. Also, of course, trying to plan and hoping to be able to do something for veterans around Veterans Day in November. And then also evidence-based classes. We can do a few different classes. Chronic disease self-management is one that I have been certified in and can teach. I do need a partner to do that as well. Pain self-management. I've also been trained to do that, but I need a partner to do that. So I either will go out and perhaps borrow someone from another senior center who's been trained to do it and doesn't mind coming in to do it with me, or perhaps have another staff or volunteer trained to start to offer those. They're very worthwhile. We have offered Matter of Balance, gosh, 3 or 4 times, twice since I've been, or once since I've been here, but twice during the last fiscal year. And we have hired Norwell VNA staff, nurses, to do that training and pay them through our formula grant. So ideally, it would be nice if we did get some people trained here in Scituate to do that, because it's been very well received. And I hope to continue again to do each of those throughout the year.
They've actually been a waiting list for the Matter of Balance class.
I don't need to go over, so you have both of the outreach reports, and again, they enter everything into my senior center as they do it, whether it's a meeting at the senior center or something they go to the home to do. Laura does a lot of home visits. Jenny, not as many. She has more in-house visits at the senior center and does outline what they do by category.
Where did they go for psychological first aid?
That's something either Laura can handle somehow, perhaps she would enlist the help of social elder services. There are resources that she can call and use. Also, the transportation report is on the back of the outreach report. That has stayed fairly consistent. Although it doesn't, like daily rides went up in July, that's it. I think our local transportation, where she might go to the supermarket or downtown, which actually is probably one of the most popular trips. They can get a lot done downtown. She drops them at various places, drives around, picks them up. So that's risen, but otherwise it's fairly consistent. The out-of-town medical fairly consistent.
I would ask this question every meeting for a year.
Okay.
What about GATRA?
Well, we use GATRA, we get GATRA money, which funds our local transportation.
What's the plan was to have it with Nashville, GATRA, in Scituate?
In Scituate.
Where you could hop on for 50 cents, go to Nashville to shop. or
That was investigated.
Hanover, Derby Street.
Well, that's something that they're willing to open up the discussion for again, and I believe it's being considered now. The first time it came up, it was simply determined that it was impractical, I guess, and so the money came to the senior center to fund the use of the vans for transporting at least seniors and the disabled. They would look at it again for public transportation.
Especially with the winter. Like to get out.
I can imagine that question, which does come up not just here at the center frequently, and I think maybe the survey would actually shed some light on how many people are wondering, and perhaps it will point some attention back to that.
Linda, we currently have how many vans, two?
We actually have 3 vans.
Three.
We don't use them all at the same time.
Right.
One might be considered there as backup should we need it, if one of the others has to go in for service or when we come to break down. That doesn't happen frequently. They do go in for service.
And drivers are volunteers?
No, we have 3 paid staff drivers,
Okay.
part-time, all of them. They may have different days. One driver doesn't work in the summer, the other driver comes in and takes those hours. We do have volunteer drivers who in lieu of the van service might take a senior to another appointment, where either we can't do it perhaps, or they might need the escort assistance. It just may be better for them to do it that way.
I can't recall the name of the program when we were in Marshall, we were involved somewhere. My good friend is involved in the CAPACIT program. It's a volunteer program where a group of volunteers, you know, are notified that somebody needs a ride wherever. What's that called?
Used to be fish.
Fish.
Back.
Right.
You still don't know that, I've never heard of that.
That was a long time.
I think we don't need that,
That was such
because,
a wonderful thing for people that, you know, have chemo.
Okay.
You know, just here.
Right.
Dialysis or whatever.
Dialysis.
We take care of a lot of dialysis patients, in
Uh-huh.
fact, through the
Okay.
link, which is mentioned here, that
Yep.
out-of-town medical,
Yep.
that's supported. The chemo probably should be.
And our 3 vans in relatively good condition.
Yes.
That one's relatively new.
I believe so.
Yeah, why else?
Because they don't park at the senior center, I literally never see them, which is sad. I would like to see the vans, but
They park them down the fire.
they
department.
certainly come and drop people off,
Yeah.
but
How about the assisted shopping? Still doing, you know, they just say,
well, that would be a volunteer situation. Oftentimes, if someone is in need of an escort, then that would be a volunteer situation, and Q would try to arrange that as part of the transportation. So that is it for my report. Sorry about the sun. Yeah.
We're gonna have to fix this here.
Wonderful.
Look at this. Have another one. I don't remember this being a problem last month when we had this.
Well, it's actually changes, you know, it's move along. Get my signs going along. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Social health.
So, John, would you like to talk to us about South Shore Elder Services?
The meeting of the South Shore Elderly Services, the board was on August 5th. And they had a picnic on August 7th at Lancaster Beach to cover all the seniors. And so the nursing homes all had bands. And it was very successful. And this year it was good weather. Last year it rained.
Did you
So-
go?
Yes. Terry O'Brien is now the new financial director, and the agency continues to grow. August 21st, they're having a new marketing meeting where they hope to get new sponsors. And they're working on having a caregiving seminar that will be open to people. More people are eligible for services because they now cover the disability of adults under 60. And they also are doing programs now, updating programs on veterans. And with an outreach program, so that's another thing that they've been working on.
How would somebody initiate that? How would you know? You just call South Shore Elder Services and
Right.
you go.
They will market that as well.
Yes.
We will hear more about that, and probably have material about that.
The board, they always have a board training, and the board training was on clinical assessment and eligibility, and was presented by Lynn Buckley, and she is the nurse monitor. And what the nurses do is they do assessments and screening for the Mass Health clients. They're very neutral, they just go in for assessments, they don't provide services, it's just an assessment. And like if we'll clients and assess what their needs are in nursing facilities or daycare or home care.
Who do they give this information?
Mass Health. So that was it.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Is there any new business?
Well, I have something to say. It's been a long, long day for me because I hate to say that it's time for me to say goodbye.
Well, we'll let you.
I'm resigning from the COA board and remain on the board many years past my intent. I feel we now need new young people to join and help with our endeavors. I've enjoyed my time helping our team, but like everything else in the world, you know when it's time.
Wow.
Well,
We'll
that's
let you.
too bad.
We appreciate all the hard
Well, I'll
work.
tell you, groups like this are everywhere. But I'll tell you right now, in the town that we're in, nobody can beat us. It's like a football.
So I can make a great coach.
Well,
Well, sorry to see you go, but thanks for
But I'll tell you,
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we had a lot of laughs
We
too.
did, a
That's
lot
it.
of good times.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed your melodious voice singing at all our parties. I hope you'll come and
Oh,
continue to
please.
sing.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna move on. My wife's out there with the car, and again, it was a great run.
Well, let's have a round of applause.
See you soon, Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't be a stranger.
I'll take 5 from you too. Have a good day.
You too, Jim, thank you again.
I do have, I could just point this out, we don't need to complete this tonight, but I had talked at the last board meeting about board committees that people might be interested in beyond the monthly board meeting. So I did type them up as I had said I would. I'll just pass this out. And if you knew, and a couple of people had mentioned they were interested in some committee work. So you could jot your name down next to one of them and give it back to
I
me.
just signed up, so someone else can have this.
You did. Well, that was the liaison, that's
Something
true. And you
different.
don't have to do another committee, that's certainly true.
Do you want this back by the end of the meeting?
Not necessarily, you can give it to me. We talked about a long-term planning, maybe advisory.
Not that I'm looking for something else
Me
to do,
too.
but I'd like to read it.
We talked about a long-term planning advisory committee, perhaps when things do come up in a smaller group. A nominating committee for the next go-around, where we do want to try and solicit some additional interest. In fact, now we need another board member, and we talked about perhaps increasing the board number from 7 to 9. So that would be something the nominating committee might help do. The bylaws, I did want to look at creating some bylaws for the board, as well as looking at the CO emission statement in a small group. The ad hoc committees are just as things come up. They don't have to continually meet, but finance could perhaps be something to look at if there was a grant that we wanted to talk about, annual funding, financial changes, things we want to do with the senior center that I might need advice on. The events we talked about last month as well, just the idea of getting out into the community and doing some things with and for the community that weren't necessarily COA related. And then marketing and advocacy, which publicity is always the thing. And
Can you be on 2 committees?
I think so.
And if you have time for it.
So, again, you can continue to think about it, we can talk about it next time, if anyone has any thoughts, but I wanted to complete the circle on that.
So therefore, anyone out there that is viewing this, if you're interested in becoming a board member, please, pursue it, because not only, as you just saw, Jim Harmon has resigned, but we would be open to having a couple more board members as well, because the winter months, sometimes the absentee rate is a little bit higher, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're interested, please follow up. We'd love to have you.
If anyone does know anyone, the process does go through the selectmen's office.
Or does anybody want a motion?
Well, I just want one more thing about new business. A lot of folks, of course, are aware of the Marshfield Fair because it's advertised on TV every 5 minutes. And there, in fact, I think there's an article in today's Mirror. I just glanced at it before I came, etc. But the Marshfield Fair, anyway, starts Friday, tomorrow, and runs through next Sunday. But why I bring it up is that Tuesday, the 19th, I think it's 19th, is free all day to seniors. It starts at 12 every day. Well, I don't know about the weekends, but it starts at 12 and it goes through till 10 p.m. But Tuesday, it's free for all seniors.
Good.
So you can't be free for a discount. So if you get to see this, televised, keep in mind the rerun of this meeting on cable. It is a free day, Tuesday. So take advantage. Free is free.
There's no more spaces.
Free fun.
Thank you.
And then that's all the
Public service
business.
announcement.
Oh, yeah, but I don't have a vested stake in the Marshfield Fair, but I'm always looking out for people's budgets. So that's why I put my 2 cents in.
Okay. So, our next ready to go?
Make a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
It's a motion. We completed our meeting at 5:27.
6:23.
Oh, 6:23. I'm looking upside down. 6:23.
That's respectful.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for coming. Our next meeting is the second Thursday in September, I believe it's the 11th.
And it will be held here.
It will be